Welcome to the Determined CEO podcast, where we will dive into the latest trends and resources to support your journey in becoming a sustainable and scalable startup venture. And now, here's your host, co-working space owner and business coach, Tim Williams.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Tim Williams. You're rocking with me on another episode of the Determined CEO podcast. Look, I'm super excited, you all. We're heading into the weekend. And with that, I have some really exciting news that's going on in my life, you all. I am privileged to be able to go on a week-long retreat to actually strategize, you all. And while some people might be thinking to themselves, okay, why is that really important? We're going to actually get into that into today's episode, you all. So what I want you to do is stay tuned, because I'm going to actually introduce to you all the method of retreats for a business owner and why it's so important for you to break away so you can be able to strategize effectively on your business. But before we get on to that, you all, look, this is the end of the series, you all, the series of the becoming of an entrepreneur. While I've had a great time in the particular series, and I had a great guest by the name of Christy with DK Solutions, it is time for us to be moving on to the next series, and that is going to be about communications. So if you're not already subscribed to my podcast, go ahead, subscribe today, you all. It's simple. Go to my website, www.thedeterminedceo.com, and go ahead and subscribe. I promise you, you're not going to get overloaded with any type of content. I post content every week, you all, so I want you to be notified of what's happening, and I want to make sure that you are building a thriving business. And speaking of a thriving business and making sure that you build one, I have a wonderful resource here, you all, and the book is titled The Building a Story Brand, and it's by Donald Miller, you all. And I have Yasmin to thank for this particular book, you all. I had the opportunity to partner with Yasmin. I know many of you are like, who is Yasmin, right? Yasmin is an individual, a woman who I actually met at the local Caldy's coffee shop here in St. Louis, Missouri. And we had a wonderful conversation talking about design and creativity and things of that nature, and just realized that we had really great synergy with one another. And so I know after the conversation, we had reconnected via Instagram, and Yasmin was telling me about an opportunity that we could actually partner up with on each other and be able to work together while helping kids in high school to be able to understand how creativity or design works within social justice. And so me and Yasmin did partner up on this opportunity, had a great time being able to not only teach kids, but to be able to learn from them and learn what their desires were, what their visions were, and the way that they thought. It really inspired me to want to go after what it is that I'm doing and to make sure that I'm bringing value not only to you, but to everyone who I am going to serve. So with that being said, what happened is Yasmin and I first rocked out this opportunity, or rocked out this educational event, right? And not even a week, maybe a week and a half if we have to be like really time sensitive, right? This book came in the mail for me, and Yasmin was the one who sent it to me. And again, Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. And when Yasmin sent this to me, I was like, am I really going to read this? And I asked myself that question because, you all, I am not a reader. That is just not me. But the moment I opened this book, the moment I dove into the chapters, oh my God, it was captivating. And with that, I began to gain a new sense of how to build, how to sell, and speak about my brand. And so with building a story brand, simply put, I'm going to give you a simple analogy that I hope many, if not most of you all can gain or understand. So there is a movie, or 3 movies, a trilogy out by the name of Lord of the Rings. And in Lord of the Rings, there were two main characters that people will really note in the actual movie. One being Frodo, who was the Hobbit, and then two was Gandalf, which first was the Gray Wizard, and then later on became the White Wizard. And what story brand basically breaks down is being able to position your customer, your clients, as the hero of your story. Rather than you being the hero of your story, allow your customers, your clients to be the hero of the story and make it seem as if they just need your assistance. Remember in Lord of the Rings, and for those who have not seen Lord of the Rings, you are missing out. I urge you to go and look at the movie, you all. But that being said, for those who have seen Lord of the Rings, you all already know. Frodo was given a task to go and destroy the One Ring. And in all three movies, you saw Frodo on this journey trying to get to his destination. And while Frodo had many support cast helping him out on this particular journey, it was Gandalf who was one of the main support cast in the movie that was Frodo's guidance or his assistance in this whole journey of his. And so what the concept of building a story brand is for you to understand how to best position your brand in the eyes of your customers and make them the heroes of your brand. Not you being the hero of your brand. While you are the hero of your brand, the point is to sell it to your customers in a way where they feel like they are the heroes of the story, not you. And here's the thing, you all. I practice this and it works, you all, to really get people to truly understand that it's because of them that things are going well. And here's the thing, my business, it really is because of them that things are going well. The reason why we see economic development, the reason we see social impact in specific areas is not because of just me, but it's because of all of us, you, me, him, her, whoever. And so I highly encourage you all, building a story brand, please, please, please go and get it and make sure you read it. Look, I'm not a brand ambassador by any means. I'm not getting paid to tell you all this, nothing. What I am wanting you to do is go and purchase a book that I believe and know will truly benefit not only your marketing abilities for your company, but the overall communication styles of how you talk about your company. No matter if you're trying to sell or just to let people know exactly what it is that you're doing. You want to have as many champions under your belt as you possibly can. And here is a book that will help you get to that point. So that being said, you all, I think it's time. It is time to get into today's episode topic. And now, I told you in the very beginning, we were going to be talking about what it really looks like to be able to break away and truly strategize effectively for your brand. And so I feel like a great topic for this episode is truly breaking away. Simple, right? Right. So what does it really mean to break away? And we're talking about in a business viewpoint, right? So business perspective. So I started my business, Diverse Culture we're talking about, you all. So I started Diverse Culture February of 2019. And prior to actually launching Diverse Culture, I had about 2 years to sit down and strategize about how I was going to build out Diverse Culture, what Diverse Culture would look like, yada, yada, yada. All of those things quickly began to change, or some of the things actually were implemented. But what happens in business, you all, see, here's a funny thing, and it's called pivoting. What happens is you get into a particular position, you get into a particular scenario where you are faced with decisions, right? And some of those decisions will cause you to have to change the very nature or the very course of your business, I should say. In a sense, I'll use myself as an example, right? So When I started Diverse Culture, and for some of you all, you've already heard this story, but when I started Diverse Culture, I originally only wanted to create a co-working space that would focus on diversity and inclusion. That was the big focus. I had no other, foundation to stand upon. It was just, hey, let's start a co-working space and bring a diverse crowd together and have them work together. That was pretty much it. And don't get me wrong, you all. I figured some things out here and there, and I started to add things to it. But that was the premise of Diverse Culture. And as I began to, continue to build the company, talk to all these different individuals, and better understand what it was that I was doing, I realized there was coming to a point that I would need to pivot. And what happened, I'll give you my story. What happened really was the simple fact of I received an opportunity to be located in a underserved or poverty-stricken community. And when I was thinking about this community, thinking about the co-working space, I was like, my targeted audience at the particular time, entrepreneurs, startups, freelancers, things of that nature. I was thinking to myself, the people who I'm really trying to target, they might not come into this community. Let's think about, if you're familiar with North City, St. Louis, Natural Bridge and Newstead to be exact. It's not the friendliest place on earth, right? And not to say it's horrible, but it has its fair shares of uniqueness, I'll say. And with that uniqueness, I had to quickly realize that while I wanted to make this dope co-working space and bring all these different type of people into this space, that was not going to happen unless I truly defined my audience. And so by understanding my location, understanding the environment that I was about to be planted in, that caused a pivot into my company. And so I did come to a point where, hey, I figured out who my targeted audience was. I have two core audiences, you all. And, I began to really tackle things in regards to business development, business planning, strategizing. But on the back end of everything, I'm still doing all of my creative work. I just completed a huge project with an organization that I cannot name at this particular time, doing some diversity and inclusion consultancy work with them though. And, I just realized that I was just all over the place. And while I was collecting so much information, I was being impactful for my clients and things, I started to see that I was not as impactful for my own brand. And before I get into why it's important to break away, allow me to say this to any and all business owners. I know it can be so easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of making sure that we're serving our customers or serving our clients, right? That's just how things are. We get to that point. But allow me to give you a word of encouragement and then a word of advice. The word of encouragement is you are doing a great job. No matter what your situation is, no matter what things might look like, you are doing a great job. Continue to do better. Continue to serve your customers with your very best ability and continue to do it out of love. Now, the word of advice, while you're so passionate, while you're so driven, while you're so loving towards your craft, towards whatever it is that you're doing in business, you need to make sure you dedicate time to your own business. What do I mean by that? I simply mean you need to treat your company, your brand, whatever you want to call it, you need to treat your company, your brand as if it was a client of yours that you were serving. And what do I mean by that? So, for you all who do not know, my background is in design. So I am a web designer, a graphic designer, or a brand specialist, and I do some digital marketing here and there. Well, what do I mean by making sure that I actually serve my own company the same way that I would serve anybody else? Simply put, I have to schedule off days where I have to cater to my company. So think about it. You got bookkeeping, you got to make sure all your software is up to date. Is your website up to date? How is your social media doing? How have you been communicating with all of your networks? Did you contact that one lady or that one man last week or a month ago when you told them that you were going to do so? These are very important factors that a lot of business owners truly miss out. They get so caught up with doing the work for their customers, doing the work for their clients, whatever you want to call them, that they do not pay attention to their own business. While they think they're paying attention to their business, they truly are not paying attention to their business because the back end is a mess. I recently connected with a individual who is doing some really great work here in St. Louis. I'm not going to name names because this is not about if you all are better than them or not. What this is about is showing you the real world of entrepreneurs out there. There are entrepreneurs out there who are doing really great work. They're growing like this. And what you're seeing is great success. But what you don't always see, and it's not for every entrepreneur, but what you don't see for some of these entrepreneurs, but you hear these, how did that happen? Like, how did they go out of business? Or why did this happen to them? It's because they didn't have their back end in order. And with this individual who I sat down with, they had some really great things going on, you all. And as we began to talk, I started to realize that while they were doing all of these great things for their clients, I realized that if they didn't get their back end together, if they didn't pay attention to their business and make sure that they were organized and that they were set up for growth, that as the growth that they were already seeing continued to come, that growth would actually come to hinder them and potentially put them out of business. So let's get to a point of what does breaking away have to do with this conversation we're having, right? The reason I'm breaking away is because I realize what's about to come. And understanding what's about to come, it is dire for me to sit down, not think about work, not thinking about making a new website, not thinking about branding, not thinking about business development for all of my other clients, but it is important for me to take the time and do business development, business strategy, service development, service strategy, product development, whatever you want to call it. It is important for me to take the time and cater to my company, to make sure that diverse culture is in a position to when scale comes, that I can scale confidently and I can scale without having to worry that anything in the back end is going to fall apart. And so this retreat that I'm about to go on next week, you all, is simply for business development strategy planning for diverse culture. What does the next steps look like for me? I had a great friend by the name of Mike Bynum, who is with Stadia Adventures, who reached out to me and presented me a video. The video was of Denzel Washington giving a speech at a college graduation. And in that speech, Denzel earnestly made it very clear that we have to keep pushing forward, that no matter the challenges, no matter the obstacles, that we have to stand strong on our dreams, stand strong on our visions, and to keep pushing forward, to keep striving for better, and to get to a point where we can become thriving individuals. And one of the key things that I remember Denzel Washington saying is, a dream without a plan is just dreams. But a dream with a goal or with a plan, that is more. And when I began to think about what he was saying, I thought to myself, I know the vision, I know the dream that I have, I know the platform that God has given me, but do I really understand what it takes to get there? And as I began to really, sit there and think about these different things, I'm like, I don't have these pieces together. I don't know what this looks like. I don't know what that looks like. And me not knowing that puts me in a position where I'm not prepared. I am not prepared for success. I am not prepared for growth. And in order for me to be prepared for growth or to be prepared for success, I need to have time to think these things through. And so this is where the retreat came. Simply understanding that if I want to become the successful business owner that I aspire to be, that I know that God has promised me that I will be, I have to make sure that I am prepared. You all, there are many sayings, quotes, things out there. There's Bible verses out there about, preparation. And allow me to say another word of encouragement. No matter how ambitious you are, you have to get out there and make sure you are prepared for what it is that you're striving for. Do not find yourself caught off guard and not ready for what's to come. The world is changing, you all. It's going to always change, and you have to be open for change. Look, I am one for change. I know that many people are not for change, but the world is going to change. Change is inevitable. And so either you can change with the world or you can be left behind. But change will happen regardless if you want it or not. But if you do want it, you need to make sure that you're prepared for it. Am I saying that you have to have everything figured out? No, I'm not saying that. But you do need to be prepared. You have a goal. What are you doing to actually reach that goal? Do you even know how many people you need to contact? Do you know the software that you need to be able to reach that goal? Do you know the financials needed to be able to obtain this specific goal? Do you have any of these things figured out while you're so ambitious to reach that audacious goal? It is time for all of us entrepreneurs to get a break and truly take this time to strategize. Take a day, take 3 days, take however many days you can, you all, but take this time to truly get a break in and learn how to build your brand, build your company the right way. Again, this podcast is not made, or it wasn't made in order for you to get out here and become a successful entrepreneur overnight, but it was to give you the steps to be able to build character, to build integrity, to build personality, and become a thriving business owner as you continue out in this wonderful journey called entrepreneurship. So you all, I really do. I ask you big time right now, take the time to break away. Take the time to strategize, and take the time to cater to your brand, cater to your company, cater to your business. It's not about who's going to get there first, you all. There's enough room, there's enough people in the market, in the industry to the point where you can be successful. And there's always someone out there ready to help you. But the real question is, are you prepared for that help? Are you mentally sound to be able to get out there and do what you need to do in order to make your dreams come true? I don't know, but you do. And if you're not, guess what? It's not too late. Right now, you could be the one who's taking that break and truly planning for success. Again, thank you all. Welcome to the Determined CEO podcast. I'll catch you later.
Thanks for listening. I hope you were able to take some valuable gems from today's episode. Be sure to follow us on social media at The Determined CEO and online at thedeterminedceo.com. Check back weekly and be sure to subscribe to our show on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Until next time, go and become the change you want to see.